anybody that's involved in the personal training industry could tell you about breathing techniques.
Yeah.
Like 90% of the population don't breathe properly. You can live 14 days without food, 7 days without water, and a matter of minutes without oxygen. The problem is we hear about hydration and the importance of the food we put in our mouth, but we don't often hear about the way we breathe. Well, very important, you breathe with your diaphragm and not your shoulders. Topic for another day, but again, you know, breathing techniques, could we throw that in the mix?
Absolutely.
Bang. And now, instead of, if you want to lose weight, you need to stay on board for 3 months, not 14 days, correct?
Yes.
So could we put together a program for 3 months that involves a telephone call and regular appointments during the week, each week for 3 months? And I basically put together a package. So we've got supplements, outfits, a treadmill, we've got a diet, we've got stretching routines, we've got breathing techniques. We've basically created, can we say we've created a $3,000 program?
Yes.
Would that be fair?
Yeah.
By the way, it's for 3 months though.
Okay.
And of course, then it's going to be like, oh, geez, are people going to pay for 3 months up front? And are they going to pay $3,000 for personal training? Well, let me tell you, this is the way you close them. Look, if you're not as serious about your health as I am about you, I don't take you on as a client. I'm basically by referral only, okay? But I'm serious about what I do because I'm serious about your health. If you're not serious, I don't want you as a client because I don't want to roll up 3 times and then have you stop answering the doorbell. Does that, you see how that could work? So suddenly we've taken him and we've put him here, okay? $3,000 with the treadmill and the outfits and whatnot. And do you see how that could all of a sudden, you see how he just moved up the food chain big time?
Yes.
And could you see after he gets some testimonials and a decent client base, and then what he's going to do is put together a free 1 hour on Monday night. Okay, so it's going to be a free fitness boot camp. And he's going to buy the domain name freefitnessbootcamp.com. Okay?
Okay.
And then you're a happy client after 2 months, but you have other friends who aren't in shape. And guess what you're going to say?
Trying to tell them,
this is the guy you got to come see.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, by the way, our fees will then go from $3,000 and creep up towards $5,000. But let's pretend that didn't happen. The bottom line is we're going to go to $3,000. We just moved substantially up the food chain to basically earn our way to our goals. Okay? Because again, I sit with business owners all the time, and it's like I sit down with them and I say, okay, how much do you earn? And they say $75,000. And I say, okay, so how much do you want to earn? And they say $150,000. And I say, okay, so how many hours a week do you work? And it's 40. And it's like, how many would you like to work? And then it's 30, right? And then it's like, okay, well, what do you do for a living? And it's something based, you know, they're a plumber, they're a personal trainer, they're a secretary, what have you. The bottom line is I say, okay, so what you do is you get paid time for money. And they say, yes.
Yeah.
I go, guess what? Unless you go get a college degree, win the lottery, your financial goals are impossible because you're selling time for money, working 40 hours a week, and you want to go from $75,000 to $150,000, and you're not enrolled in any university courses, right? Does that make sense? So all of a sudden it's like, hang on a second, that's not going to work. So you need to do is you need to create what's in between here, and you got to turn it into a product and something you can sell. You cannot go through life selling time for money if you want to be financially free. It's unless you're very high paid. Okay? So you're a surgeon, you're something again, and if you're a surgeon, you've spent an incredible amount of hours, you know, in 4 walls getting taught something, right?
Yes.
And that's going to take a while in order for somebody to get to that pay increase. So all of a sudden, again, their goals don't work unless they go back to school and spend years there. So fundamentally speaking, you've got to create a widget and something that you can ultimately sell. So what we say in business, like there's basically leverage. Anybody who's involved in real estate would have heard, you know, leverage in business. It's about, I put $10,000 down on a $100,000 property, but then I get to make interest and capital gains on $100,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, well in business, it's a little bit different. But you want to think about leverage in business is about doing something once and getting paid forever. Okay, so you write a book, right? If you wrote a book, how many times would you write it?
Once.
And how long could you sell it for?
The rest of my life.
Forever. If we wrote a sales letter that pulled, let's just say it pulled 1 in 100. Okay, so you got to buy 100 stamps to get one person to come and take on your personal training services. Once you put together that letter, how many times did you write it?
Once.
And how long could you get paid off that sales letter?
Forever.
Forever. You might need to make some tweaks and changes as you move forward and move into different areas, but you will always make, you know, the power of doing it once and getting paid forever is hugely powerful. You put together a program. There is always more money in the process of the process of doing your task than doing your task. That makes sense? So you mow lawns for a living. There's always more money in developing a system to acquire a new client for a lawnmower or a lawn mowing company than there will ever be in rolling up and mowing the lawns. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so, and you put together the sales letter and the script and the closing flyer and the brochure and the brand name and the logo and, you know, all the rest of the stuff that goes into a successful business. You would do that how many times?
Once.
And you would get paid for how long?
Forever.
Forever. So again, the quickest and easiest way to $1 million. Essentially, what you want to be doing is you got to move up the food chain and probably are going to struggle at $10 units unless you've got a heck of a product and a great infrastructure. You probably want to move up towards here, and that's higher priced items. Whilst doing that, what you want to be able to do is harness and create a process. So you download what's in between your ears onto something I can hold in my hand, and then ultimately you want to be able to sell that. Okay, so that is the process of acquiring a lawn mowing customer as an example. Because if you owned a lawn mowing company, how much would you pay to get a hold of my sales letter and my brochure and my program if I could guarantee results on it? And the answer is you'd be in for sure, right?
Absolutely.
And that's franchising 101, by the way. But that's for a topic for another day. Strictly speaking, what the topic today, quickest and easiest way to $1 million, move up the food chain in terms of price. And just quickly, I want to end on this. And the people listening, I want you to think about this. I want, you know, the ladies in the audience, or ladies listening, what I want you to think of is your favorite perfume and your favorite label of clothing. Okay? And then gentlemen, I want you to think of the same thing, your favorite label of clothing and your favorite cologne. Okay? And here's the shocker. You guys have spent more money on that one label of clothing than you have all the other labels of clothing combined. Okay? The same thing for the perfume, the same thing for the cologne. What am I getting at? People are more loyal to people they spend more money with. Okay?
Okay.
So the personal trainer here at $65 doesn't get taken very seriously by his clients. The guy who charges $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, this guy gets referred to his buddies. Okay? This guy doesn't. People are more loyal when they spend more money with you. Okay, so that's it for the quickest and easiest way to $1 million.
Excellent. Thanks, Karl, and thanks for tuning in to this edition of Karl's Kick on the quickest and easiest way to $1 million. We'll see you next time.